My name is John Saunders, and I am the founder and president of a ministry called Food for Days, originally known as Backpack Meals Ministry in Mooresville and Iredell County. As we began this ministry back in the year 2010, it came out of a story that I heard on radio, a lady giving her information about how she started and continued to have a backpack meals ministry for at-risk children in the public schools. I thought about this for quite a while and finally went to my pastor at First Baptist Church here in Mooresville and asked what he thought about it and is it something that we could do as a ministry in First Baptist Church. And he concurred that we could do that or could possibly do it. And so we went down to the high school here in Mooresville and talked to the counselor, the dietitian, and the lady who is responsible for working with the homeless children. We told them what we thought we would like to do, and they said, well, it's not been done in Mooresville schools, so they would have to find out. And a month or so later, in April of 2010, I got an email saying that this is a possibility, and they would like for First Baptist Church to begin the ministry and to start in South Elementary School. During the summertime of 2010, we began to gather resources and write our purpose statement and enlist volunteers and be prepared for the school starting in the fall of 2010. Miss Corrine Malt was a counselor at South Elementary School, and she had some information from a friend of hers who had experience with the backpack ministry in her church in Rowan County. So it began, I suppose, with some information that helped us to get sort of kick-started. And so we had to go through the process of making our plans, but also contacting Dr. Edwards to see if it's something that he felt like would be productive in the schools. So in August of 2010, we got everything together and we're ready to start feeding the children in September. The Food for Days really is a ministry whereby we provide meals, 6 meals, 3 for Saturday and 3 for Sunday, for children who are on the Title I or the breakfast lunch meal program. And as we learned that there were about 43% of the children who are receiving the breakfast and lunch, we felt like that this is something that we would be able to do to help them have meals over the weekend. And so we started at South, and we had 10 children, 1 church, and 1 school, and we started on September the 23rd, 2010. Well, everything went well. We had volunteers who bought the food, who packed the food, who delivered the food to the schools, and who later on through the week would also go to the school and pick up the backpacks and bring them back to First Baptist Church for preparation for the next week. This continued into the year, and we came into the December of 2010, and Rocky River became a part of the ministry with another 10 children. And so when December was over, we were in 2 schools and 20 children. Then after the first of the year, we picked up another church, St. Mark's Lutheran Church, and we were in 3 schools. So when school was out in June, we were 3 churches in 3 schools feeding 60 children. Now, that's been 5 years ago, and today we are feeding over 350 children in 14 schools. We have 14 churches, and a lot of volunteers who help us prepare the food and deliver it to the schools. We have a bright future and are looking forward to this school year, and perhaps we will have by the end of the school year 2015 over 400 children. So this is the history and the starting of the Backpack Meals Ministry, now doing business as Food for Days. Thank you, and hope that you understand something of what we're doing in the school system.
Hello, I'm Mark Edwards, Superintendent of the Mooresville Graded School District, with both a request and a thank you. The Food for Days, formerly known as the Backpack Ministry, has served a tremendous purpose for our students in the Mooresville Graded School District. This program that was born out of First Baptist with Reverend John Saunders now serves hundreds of children in all of our schools in the Mooresville Graded School District, making sure that children and families have food and basic needs met on the weekends. This program has been a huge asset to so many families, to so many children, and I want to thank the Backpack Ministry, Food for Days, for your service and your commitment to children. But I also would like to make a request for any community member, agency, organization, or business that could lend a hand and support Food for Days. I can promise you the resources go directly to students, directly to families. They're making a difference, and they're part of this great spirit of the Mooresville community. I thank you for this opportunity to share this with you. Please support Food for Days in the Backpack Ministry. Thank you.
My name is Melanie Taylor, and I'm the Deputy Superintendent for Iredell Statesville Schools. The Food for Days program has been a wonderful fill-in-the-gap program to help our students and our families. Over the past 7 years, we've seen an increase in free and reduced lunch rates of about 7%. So we have a lot more of our families that are in need than have been in the past. And a lot of times these are families that may not have thought that they would end up in the situation that they are in today. The Food for Days program provides backpacks filled with food for those families to take home with them over the weekends. For example, we have one family with 3 children living in a hotel, and the Food for Days program provides an opportunity for that family to feed their students and to feed their children over the weekend, and so that they have good warm meals at home over the weekend when they otherwise might not have had an opportunity to provide those meals. So it's been a really great opportunity for our students. It's a wonderful program, and we are very happy to have partnered with them over the last several years.
Hi, this is Marilyn Boardman. She has served on the executive board for 2 years and is the food committee chair. How did you get involved with Foods for Days?
Well, it started back in 2010, and they just started with South Elementary. And once South started, Parkview heard about it, and so they needed another church to help out feeding the children. So they approached St. Mark's, which I'm a member of, and we started at that time. It was a few months after the organization got started.
How does Food for Days receive their food?
Well, we actually purchased the food. The churches in the beginning supported. That was the only support we had was from churches. And then we bought the food, and we bought the food at a local grocery. Eventually, like now, we buy the food from every grocery that can give us the right price.
And how do the students receive the food?
Well, we pack it every Thursday. We deliver it to the schools, generally to the counselors, and then they distribute it on Friday morning. And we started out using a backpack. Well, we soon found out that meant that we had to transfer from their own backpack into our backpack. And that made a little difference in how people perceived this. So then we switched to just doing it in a bag and then putting it right in their own backpack, which made it very unobvious.
And what is included in these backpacks or bags?
Well, we include 12 items, and that is 6 dinners. If you can see that I have several items there, that's more than what we would put in one backpack. What we try to do is alternate so they don't have the same food week after week. We kind of alternate between 3 or 4 items. They have to be individual. They have to be something that the child, because we serve preschool, so there has to be something that they can actually open in general. So it does make it a little difficult to find just the right items. We also do special items for allergy people. Gluten-free people are all, we pack, that is in a separate container. We don't mix it up with other foods. You know, we have to really be cognizant of people that have allergies.
And how many people does it take to normally pack these bags?
Well, probably at least 20. We have 7 stations, which takes care, some stations take care of more than one school. And it takes about 20 people, but we probably have maybe 60 volunteers. So we rotate. They don't have to, come every Thursday. We have some people that just want to come, so they just show up anytime. And we also have outside people like Niagara Bottling. They come every week and help. Once the bags are filled, then a volunteer takes them to the school, the individual schools.
Thank you, Marilyn.
You're welcome.
I'm a local resident of Mooresville, and I've lived here for the past 10 years. I work for the public school system, and my husband was working for a shipping company in Statesville. In 2013, the company had some reduction in staff, and he was laid off. The layoff was a financial strain on my family. We were trying to make ends meet on a single income teacher assistant salary. I have 2 children, which made things extremely difficult. We had to make some tough decisions with how we spent our money. We cut back on things that were not necessities. Even with those changes, it was difficult to make ends meet. Our food budget was decreased significantly, making it challenging to provide adequate food and snacks for the children. The burden also caused mental stress on me. I sought out the school counselor to seek support. She informed me about the backpack program. The program was a blessing to my family. The weekly meals were very helpful in that it was one less thing I had to worry about. My children enjoyed the food, and I was grateful because the food was well balanced and nutritious. I was very pleased with the variety of food provided each week. I am thankful that the church is able to provide this service to my family when faced with such a difficult time. I received backpack meals for a full year. My husband was eventually hired at the airport, which is a blessing to my family. This allowed me to be able to discontinue the program. I am very grateful that Food for Days and the supporting church had a program that helps those families in difficult times. My name is Karen Swan. I started working with Food for Days in December of 2013. I am currently the executive director. This fall, we are sending home weekend meals to over 350 students. Through community collaboration, 14 church partners in 17 schools, grants, individual gifts, and in-kind donations, we provided over 65,000 individual meals plus snacks last year. We have amazing volunteers who worked a combined 2,000 hours last year. As we continue to provide for these students and enter into additional schools where a backpack program is needed, we have the opportunity to partner with additional churches and receive individual sponsorships of $250 per student to meet our increasing need. I continue to be touched by the love and outreach of this community, including Mooresville, Statesville, and Troutman. While picking up donations for the summer roundup, where we collect one item a month to help offset our cost for food, starting the school year back up, I ran into a gentleman who stopped me to tell me that his 2 girls were part of the original 10 we started to feed. He proceeded to tell me how much it impacted his girls, as he was out of work and eventually became homeless. While shopping for supplies another day, a store employee was assisting me with an item. We struck up a conversation when I mentioned I work for a nonprofit. He knew exactly who we were. You see, he and his family come weekly to the MSK Market, held by 2 of our church partners, Peninsula Baptist and the Bridge Church of the Nazarene. This is another ministry Food for Days participates in. This gentleman is working full-time, but has had financial setbacks for medical reasons and is struggling to make ends meet. We continue to receive positive feedback from all the counselors at all the schools. When children come to school on Monday and have eaten food over the weekend, they have the ability to concentrate. We hear many stories how their self-esteem has improved and the students know they are loved. In addition to the food many of our church partners provide, Valentine's cards, winter hats, and other items to the schools. 40 students who filled out WinShape Camp scholarship applications were able to attend this incredible week-long day camp. When a donation from the Mooresville Rotary and an individual donor, we were able to send all of our students hygiene kits and to the book fair with $10 to spend. The librarian said it was like Christmas morning. The kids were ecstatic. We could not have done or continue to do any of these things without the support of organizations, individuals, churches, and area businesses. I look forward to serving our students, collaborating with community, and growing together this year.